It is Finesse versus Oxygen, draft number 2. Quick rundown of this, like we always do. I feel like it's becoming a little bit of tradition just to explain it. ParagonDraft.com, if you want to check it out and use it for yourself, you are able to. It's open to everyone. Where you start the replay off, and you have 30 seconds to make your first ban and your first picks, whatever you need to do. If that 30-second runs out, you have 30 seconds left of extra time. Once that runs out, the system picks for you. And that's what you don't want to do. Creates an interesting strategy, seeing how long it takes these teams to pick. But 3, 2, 1, go. I'm assuming you're ready. You're always ready before.
Finesse. It's Finesse with the first pick a ban. They do try and remove that Rampage straight off the board. Yet again, Rampage, and there is the Bellicus. It looks very similar to what we were seeing before. And this time, Finesse taking that Morigesh on the first pick, already changing up their composition. Electing to go for a bit more damage potentially in their offlaner in Suki instead of that support we saw in the first game.
And I think this is definitely the good pick. Taking the a more damage-oriented composition is probably going to help them out because they were able, in the fights they had, they were able to actually win the majority of the fights until something happened to the main composition. Once you put a chink in the armor, it didn't take much longer to actually just breach the entire wall. And
yeah. We do see the Decker and Twin Blast as well from the side of Oxygen. They do get Imsco on that Twin Blast. Yeah, he was a bit behind, but he was able to consistently put out damage throughout the entire game. Allowed and enabled Ram Riddles to then pick off Strafe, and that was, in the end, what mattered, because even if Imsco had fallen, they used everything on Imsco instead of Ram Riddles, who was able to take out Strafe in a lot of those fights.
Yeah, and we're going to see a Howitzer follow up to counter the Decker pick, making sure Arsenic doesn't get it, because Arsenic is still a very good Howitzer. I feel like that's a lot of the Howitzer is the staple character for a good mid laner. He's got so much utility, a lot of damage. He's got a long range. He's able to do a lot 1v1 in the mid lane. So, and combined with a Decker, you're looking for a lot of potential to get some real like wounds onto the enemy team, and they're gonna follow that one up. Chillfield's gonna take the Sevarog.
Thing is, they won't have that Decker. They're gonna be looking for potentially a Narbash with the Crash Bang Boom to then sort of fill a similar role. It's not as impactful as a Decker Wall is. That containment field locks people in. You can kind of get away from the Narbash equivalent. I wouldn't be surprised if that is Oxygen's last pick. There is the sort of the front line from Oxygen, the Quang and the Grux, partnered up with a Decker. That is ideal. You have the Stasis Bomb along with then the Judgment of the Heavens coming out from Quang, which is perfect sort of synergy there. Single target, you can remove them, smash and grab along with the grenades coming out from Twin Blasters. I really like Oxygen's comp so far. They have a lot of ways of dealing with a Morigesh, which I like, and also the Narbash.
And there is Narbash and Sparrow being picked up. Both team comps looking very strong. Interesting enough, we actually see a swap in the mid laners and the junglers. Gonna see Oxygen maybe pick up the Gideon. Yeah, so we see everyone switch. Just to get that one rounded out.
Gideon has also gone up in priority a lot. That change to the pull makes him incredibly annoying to deal with. That black hole now instantly giving you a greater pull from the start, sort of thing. That sort of consistent greater pull. If you don't have a blink, you're pretty much stuck in it and you can't do anything. And we saw the impact it had with Finesse playing it. The amount of times Imsco just couldn't deal with it. Even with a stasis, even with sort of his build, he wasn't able to get away from it a lot of the time. And now we're seeing it on Oxygen. And Sparrow, no escapes. And will be forced to sort of run probably Blink and Stasis just to survive the onslaught that will come from Oxygen.
And this is really interesting because we see FaZe not picked. FaZe Revenant have not been picked for the first time since they were released. We're going back to the old days, boys. The old like OT picks. Yeah, so I'm ready to start the game off though, because I want to get into this. These teams are ready to frag gems.
I'm ready as well. We should probably get this on the way as quick as possible.
All right. We'll take a first break. You know, another 3-song break just to add a little bit of dramatic tension. In 3, 2, 1, go. And to start this game off is the lovely musical stylings of Gems. You can introduce the first team, Gems. You got this.
So on the side of Oxygen, we do have Ibsco on the Twin Blast, Phasma on that Decker, Meds on the Grux, Arsenic on that Gideon, and Ramriddle, TeamRuble.net on the Quang.
When do you think he's going to change his name back?
Whenever the delay on being able to change your name comes back in,
I
you
think
can't
it's
change
like
it.
3 months, isn't it? 60 or 90 days?
But yeah, straight off the bat, we do have this invade coming out. However, Finesse have spotted it. They've already placed this early ward and are predicting it.
Yeah, they're just waiting. They're waiting on the other side of the shadow wall to get the opportunity to go off, and then they go in. They're going to get the thunk off onto Phasma. First one to be caught out. Chillfill rolling in as well. Phasma might be able to get away, but the piercing shot and the auto attack from Proficiency will secure the kill. And they're going to be punished for that early game invade, now spending the time to clear out the wards. Minions have spawned, so I don't think this will be an opportunity for everyone to really back appropriately. Yeah, as you see, Strafe has to go straight into lane, and unable to do what he needs to do. And we're seeing another duo mid coming out of Phasma and Imsco.
Well, Strafe's build means that he doesn't have to actually go back. He didn't take the ward. He's just got the standard Sparrow start, so he's going to be okay there. Ram is trying to stop the slow push happening, the sort of the freeze. He's trying to make it slow push towards him by fighting Strafe, make it a little bit more awkward. We haven't actually introduced Finesse yet.
All right, to introduce Team Finesse, just to get this thing quickly underway, we are seeing Strafe, as we were just talking about him, on Sparrow once again as the ADC. Lucer is going to be Narbash on support. Suki in the off lane with Morigesh this time around. Proficiency taking the Howitzer away from Arsenic. And Chillfill taking the Sevarog away from Meds.
Now, back to that early game sort of change in plan. I really love the way Finesse changed their strategy, going and recognizing there will be this invade. What I also love is the way Phasma right now from Oxygen recognized that Sevarog took and subjugate level 1. So he doesn't have that siphon, and he's gone in to punish Chillfill, who's really got an incredibly slow clear. He can't sort of spam the subjugate ability that much. It puts his stacks behind as well.
He's forced to just use a subjugate to clear, and now he has no mana.
Yeah, it really slows his clear down overall. So even though they did manage to get that kill, they have still managed to force an early ability, which isn't ideal here for Chillfill. Like you can really see, he's level 2. He's nearly going to die. Phasma just rotating in there forces a reset on that green buff, which means Chillfill has to recall.
I think what they could do as an option here is by putting Phasma in the jungle until Sevarog hits level 2 and gets that and gets the siphon off, you know, just to help him clear the first initial wave. He'll be a little under-leveled, however, this wouldn't happen. And we are seeing Med steal the green buff. Phasma there as well to stop Proficiency from going in. He has to use his landmine just to peel. But the duo mid strategy here that we're seeing is being executed very well by Team Oxygen.
It really is. They're fully utilizing the fact that Chillfill, as I mentioned, had to sacrifice a lot in the early stages with his ability choices, and they're not letting him have any of this jungle. He's now forced to go to the off-lane side of the jungle, try and farm up what he can over there, because this is now a med side. He's taking full control. He's got that green. He's
probably going to get jungle.
Yeah, it's now Meds' jungle. He's got that duo mid who's going to back him up the entire time. And if Finesse are going to try do something similar, they end up giving up a lot of resources for that rotation, which in the end of the day is in Oxygen's favor. They can sit there, they can farm up even more and be okay.
And here is Mez rotating into the mid lane. He's going to miss the smash and grab just barely, but he engages as fast as the one taking the tower damage. Phasma going down to Suki this time, but they still manage to secure the kill as Suki's now engaging. Chillfill rotating in, now just level 2. Meds is going to be hitting 4 in just a second. Meds getting a purple buff and able to once again flex the aggression on the Grux into the enemy jungle. Now, one thing, Wraith isn't going to be able to play for the next few weeks, but I think Wraith is going to excel in these duo mid comps as a kill lane support. So instead, we'd have the same setup, the same play style we're seeing here, Gems, but instead of the Decker, it would be a Wraith. And he's able to ward the enemy jungle with his drone. He's able to rewind and secure any kill and make sure that gank is guaranteed to happen.
Yeah, the rewind is incredibly powerful. Even if you're running away from a Wraith, you end up just getting rewound back into sort of the middle of your lane. Granted, it's a high cooldown ability, but if utilized correctly, as we've been seeing some sort of players do at this point in time, it can be incredibly impactful. Also in fights. If you see a Gideon, you can just rewind his black hole and then that's it. No more black hole.
Well, on top of that, if let's say you put Ram Riddles on Bellica, who's kind of a support class character with burst, so that makes up for the CC and utility that Wraith has, but is also lacking in the same way. So I think if Oxygen practices with Wraith, when he comes out, they're going to be the ones to really utilize the character to his fullest in this kind of composition.
But in this current game, we're already seeing, look at the builds, look at the healer tokens, I should mention, on the side of Oxygen. 3 per player in the 2 side laners, making them incredibly hard to kill. That regen consistently keeping their health topped up and allows Ramriddle just to farm as much as he likes. And he is now sitting at 25 farm, whereas Suki's at 23. Slight difference already. 8 points across the board. Kills and points are really even. However, time and time again, Oxygen have that lead in farm. There's already a near 30-point farm difference on the board.
Yeah, that's actually pretty huge. We're seeing Chillfill just having to sit there and farm as Phasma is rotating into the jungle with Mez right behind him, and they're just stopping Chillfill from being able to do anything. They, like you said, they recognized that he didn't have his siphon, and that really hurt Sevarog's already poor early game wave clear.
Yeah, and that's actually, as you mentioned, sitting behind. He's 28 farmer, as Med's at 35. Already a point difference in that, and he's not been able to do any ganks that have been able to sort of keep him ahead. Nice. Ooh, that was a near steal coming out from Phasma, but the black buff still ends up going over to Chillfill.
I applaud Chillfill for prioritizing the buff, especially since it's a black buff that could help him so much to make up for the time that he's lost in the jungle. And, you know, he realized that was important, that he needed to have it. So even if he got rotated on, if he secured it, it would have been to his advantage. You know, the risk was worth the reward.
Yeah, it is, and we are 7 minutes into this game. Phasma, instant quenching skills, prioritize over the wards just to get that heal. Because of this duo mid, they're going to be looking for fights.
And there it is, the subject coming out, Chillfill, he dashes in, goes for the colossal blow, and he lands Imsco right into the tower. Proficiency now trying to follow up as well with the R2000, and it will miss. He's going to rotate up onto the platform. He's trying to get away. There is no phase to peel. The landmine's actually going to stop Proficiency from being able to engage. Chillfill now stuck over there, needing the dual lane to rotate over, but they do secure the kill onto Imsco, giving Chillfill that extra CP he needs to get himself back into the game and make the difference up from Meds.
Yeah, he's now up to 11 points, is actually equal and on par with Meds, which is actually going to be useful. He has got that Mad Spore Sash on the Sevarog, which I really love, and they are trying to then take this tier 1 tower down as soon as they can, but they don't have the minion wave capable to do it. It's just going to be a little bit of damage, and they're going to back off.
All right, and we do have River spawning once again in 30 seconds, and we have Raptor spawning in just about a minute after that. Gold Bus on the map, Strafe picking his up, and he's going to rotate over. Just about to hit level 5. This is where we're going to see the Sparrows start to really come online, the first phase of him coming online. And there it is right there. He's going to have his inner fire accessible to him now. Imsco's already has the Ventilate. But Ventilate is a good ability, however, not as priority as Sparrow's ultimate, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's kind of used as a little bit of poke, and Chillfill, with that invis buff, it looked like he was in a little bit of a sticky situation. He's going to be okay. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do with this, if he's able to get a pick off here in this mid lane with this duo, but it looks like Imsco is just going to sit under his tower and hope. Does recognize there's an invis, places that ward right in front of his tower, and Chillfill instantly has to go elsewhere, looking to get that gank. Probably not going to get much off of that purple buff. And
this is definitely one of Imsco's playing styles. Imsco's play styles, he likes to sit there and farm. He likes to get fed. He likes to just, you know, make sure he has guaranteed kills. Whereas Strafe farms as well, but Strafe is more aggressive. He likes to get those early game picks. He likes to fight. Strafe wants to frag. So we're seeing that right here in playstyles. Imsco's playing a lot more passively under tower, more back, than Strafe is willing to do, because, you know, we saw Strafe and Lucer rotate right away as soon as they needed to, whereas Imsco kind of keeps himself farmed and lets Phasma go through instead. Yeah, and it is the 10-minute mark. Raptors have spawned. Vision control
is on the side of Finesse. They've got that trifecta of wards. I love saying that. Around the 3 sort of main entrances. So you got the just aside both sides of the pit, one and then one in the river in case sort of the offlaner decides to rotate or if you're going to get flanked from behind. And you cover that point. No one can deal with it, and you can control the Raptor pit should you choose to go for it. It doesn't look like they are right now. However, with Inner Fire, with Strafe, they can take this way quicker than Oxygen could probably react to.
We are seeing them rotate over now. Chillfill now on Raptors using the green buff to help secure it. Mez has his own and he's looking to go. They're going to disengage right off the Raptors. Lucer getting caught by the stasis bomb, but his team is not going to follow up to try and get the Narbash off the map. River buff spawning now once again. Med's waiting right beside it. Lucer rotating in to try and help. It's going to be a red buff secured and a black buff for Strafe. This is their opportunity now. They need to do this to get those Raptors and force a fight. They have a red buff on a Sevarog. They have a black buff on a Sparrow. What more do you need to get a team wipe this early on in the game?
They don't have proficiency. They don't have that Make It Rain available to them because of Ram Riddles is being putting a lot of pressure onto this lane. He is consistently pushing up, consistently farming, and being sort of a nuisance here and forcing Finesse to have to deal with him.
All right, and the first buff goes down. They're looking to get the second Raptor maybe, but the team is rotating in as well. Black buff still up as well as red buff, which just ran out, and that's going to be black buff going down. So they managed to secure the one Raptor, getting a nice little 600 CP point lead, basically a little larger than a minion wave in his favor. And that is going to bring Strafe to 18 card points. Imsco sitting at 16. So Strafe's once again in the advantage in the early game. Phasma rotating as well as Lucer getting the thunk off. Strafe going to use the piercing shot to apply a little bit of poke damage onto the enemy ADC. Rotating around.
Not much is actually happening right now. Both teams are trying to like set up their vision, trying to set up a fight where they are in a favorable position. However, they don't want to take the full commitment onto sort of Raptors. We saw the Finesse take just the one Raptor, then back out, which I really like. Just get a little bit of power here. You don't have to fully commit to this.
Which is something they're learning from last game, right? Something they're 100% learning from last game, because last game they tried to fully commit for the Prime, and they did it 3 times and it failed 3 times. So this time they're playing a little more cautiously. However, as the game progresses and the teams start to power up, hitting that level 7, 8, 9, tension is being built between these two teams, and we're going to see that one big explosive team fight to set the rest of the game off like we did last game in the right side of the jungle.
And if we're just looking at points wise, Suki's 2 points behind Ram Riddles in the 2 offlaners. Radiant Mantle and Ethereum Mask on Kwang right now, which is a pretty big sort of power spike, gives him that health that he needs to survive, makes him a lot tankier, and gives him that damage as well, passive damage that he gets from the Radiant. Whereas Suki 2 points behind, and it's looking the same. Strafe is at 19, Imsco's at 18, so we're seeing the sort of difference again. And there is the smash and grab coming out from Mez. That is a dead Suki.
Suki going right down, getting caught in the ultimate of Arsenic. Arsenic now using the Cosmic to just kind of get a little bit of minion damage off and force the wave forward and try and apply a little bit of map pressure. Once again, that's a nice pick coming out of Oxygen. And this is where we're going to see the team fights start to really break out.
They also secured that mid tower as well. So they had pressure on 2 sides of the map. While the rotations were happening, Imsco pushed out the mid, recognized he can take it, and an extra tower just on the board here for free on the side of Oxygen. They're slowly trying to build the lead here. Even though they weren't able to take Raptors, we see Arsenic sitting at 22 points ahead of the majority of the board. 87 farm, Rambriddle's at 21, and if you just look at the creep score difference, 50 to 60 point difference in minions.
Yeah, this man does not miss a minion. It's absolutely insane with how well he's able to farm. One thing I do want to mention though is the duo min strategy has caused or forced Finesse to adapt to it, putting their own duo lane into the mid as well, causing Proficiency, who's integral to the team fights, to get that AoE damage off and that extra CC to force himself into the right lane to go against Ram Riddles and have to contest him. And that's hard to do because Ram Riddles is going to push into the core every opportunity he gets, and then join the team fight and still be able to, you know, like, contribute.
Raptors did go over the side of Finesse. They did manage to secure the last two because Oxygen had to recall after all those fights. They took that little opportunity with their vision control that they've got around that side of the map to then go and take it. Meds, using that dash, that charge, is going to get away from that subjugate. And again, it's pretty equal on the board, to be honest. I mean, Raptors, yes, they did go over the side of Finesse. However, the farming capabilities keeping Oxygen still in this game. They're still ahead on a lot of players on the team. Phasma's a few points ahead of Louisera, and even that is pretty big because that's an extra quenching seals or a potential extra Honor of the Pure already on the board, as we can see right now. Extra Honor of the Pure in comparison to Louisera. He does not have that yet.
Yeah, he's still building up to that one, and that's going to start causing a couple issues for Team Finesse, who are looking to get their picks. They're looking to do what they can, but Oxygen is basically a step ahead of them. However, the ward game on Finesse right now is completely on point, having 5 wards on the left side of the map and every intersection that Team Oxygen can possibly go against. We saw Arsenic drop down his own little ward to try and help that out as the duo lane rotates in the left lane to try and save one of the tier 2s, and they're now going to apply pressure on that one. In the jungle is going to be an invasion from Team Oxygen as they're trying to secure the gold buff. Shieldfield does manage to grab it and he's trying to get away, but the containment defense is dropped. Sevarog now caught in a glass box of emotions as he's put off the map and killed because it's the duo mid able to flex into the jungle with their jungler because they realize that Louisera and Strafe went left lane, so they know they have the power to do something. Had vision on the green, and they did their job.
Yeah, and that is another kill on the board here on the side of Oxygen. This is what they've been doing well, recognizing when they can go for these invades. Even though they don't have vision on the board, they can see other people on the map. They can see the duo of Strafe and Louisera now on that far side. So instantly, we have 3 people here in Oxygen, in Finesse's jungle, just taking down that link. Denying more resources here across the board and giving more farm over to Imska. He's at 24 points. He's still behind Louisera, but that is literally the difference of those Raptors.
All right, and that is going in right now. Med's rotating out, and he has a black buff. He's opting not to use it, going to continue to farm with it instead. We need to, what does Finesse need to do to put themselves in the game? Like, the score is 3-3-6, but the farm disparity is absolutely huge, and that might be the thing we're looking for as Chillfill gets a pick with the subjugate onto Phasma, who's caught out, forced to burn down the stasis bomb as well as the quenching skills. They burn him down to about 10 health, and it's going to be Strafe running in with a just errant auto attack from the Raptor pit to secure that kill. Phasma once again down for 20 seconds. And now they're going to engage onto the mid lane, and this could be the thing we were just asking about. What could be done? Well, this could be done.
They get a pick, they get a tower, it keeps them equal footing towards points. Strafe is allowed to get a more increasing lead. However, he doesn't have the protection that he had in the first game. He doesn't have the double support. He doesn't have that big burst and heal from FaZe. However, he has got an Arbash with Honor of the Pure and a quenching, which will help. And the Howitzer Mines and Sevrog Subjugates. There's a lot of different utility this time around to keep them alive.
All right, and they're looking to push up. Phasma is back up and in lane, ready to defend the tower. However, they're opting to not really do anything about it. The tower's too low for them to viably make the decision to actually protect it. They're going to jump in, drop the ward, which is going to get cleared out by Meds. Green buffs are now spawning for both teams right now. Kind of curious to see how this one works out, as Raptors are spawning as well.
Yeah, they are. The Raptors will be up in about 20-30 seconds. It's going to be interesting to see who goes for them at the moment. We've been seeing Finesse with incredible vision control across that side of the map. They've been able to control Raptors both games for the majority of it. Oxygen kind of just been giving it up and being okay to do that. They've been saying, okay, you can take them. We're not going to risk these fights. We're doing pretty okay farming right now.
And
we also know that we can just take out Strafe in the later stages of the game. So his point score doesn't really matter as long as we pile on all our damage onto one guy.
And that is definitely true. Ram Riddles is so far ahead of everyone else in the game just on CS, as he usually is. Subject going out onto Phasma. Phasma doing a good job using the rocket boots to jump right over it. And now they're back onto Raptors as 5 proficiencies there, leaving Ram Riddles to just push the lane and take the tier 2, which is a risky pick. They need to back. Phasma getting caught out once again. Will dodge the Subjugate off in the distance, as Chillphil's going to completely get caught out 1v4. Lucera Proficiency rotating around from the back to try and help out with Strafe right behind Chillphil, and they're going to safely walk away from that as Reborn.net pushes the minions into the tower to get some tower damage off, and then is going to farm the jungle of Sevarog.
You can see that the other 5 members of the team are
nowhere near
busy being engaged with the rest of the Oxygen lineup. So he's got a little bit of extra points there. It's what's been keeping him so far ahead in farm, 171. No one else is even remotely close. He's 50 farm ahead of everyone on his own team, 60 ahead of Strafe. 40 ahead of Strafe right now, and 34 points, equal number of points of Strafe, purely on his farming capabilities. And I love the fact that he recognizes he can just go and steal some resources from Finesse.
All right, and there is Meds getting a nice smash and grab, followed by the Stasis Gem, and there's a Thunk to follow up. Stasis, the containment field goes down to catch them out. Meds is going down. He has an engagement. Oh, and there's Phasma getting picked up by the piercing arrow. So they had a great engagement, but Finesse this time around was able to turn it and get themselves a counter engagement. And I think this is their opportunity where they can successfully prime without issue. They don't have the Make It Rain, but it's a 3v5 in their favor. The only one who could become a real issue for them would be the Kwong for the steal. Gideon would also apply a lot of pressure into the overprime pit as well. And we're going to see how this one plays out in just a second, as Oxygen is realizing what the current situation is. They're going to continue and poke down that prime, doing a good job of zoning them out. Here comes Reborn.net for the steal. He's going to drop down the sword. There's Arsenic, and the steal is successful. You cannot stop the Kwong from securing that prime. Arsenic gets a kill on to Louis Serre, as he's now zoning out and body just boxing the Sevarog. He's going to jump right over his head, and Team Reborn.net is going to help pick up and secure the kill. He's chasing down Proficiency. He does not have Judgment of the Heavens to try and catch up to him. Proficiency landmine should be coming back up in just a second. He will be able to use it to peel off the team, and there is the Light of the Heavens to apply a little bit of damage, and that will miss, but it does allow Oxygen to rotate into the right side of the map and clear out the minion wave to add more map pressure. However, the important part was the Kwong getting the steal at the last possible second. Arsenic using his own ultimate, the Black Hole, to stop the team from being able to go back to Prime and apply the rest of the damage needed to secure it. Letting Ram Riddles go in, letting Ram Riddles get the secure, and letting the team go for a 3v5 team wipe.
They had backed off from that prime. They were looking to try and go for a fight. However, it wasn't like a full team sort of recall away from that. There was a lot of damage not being focused on the prime, which allowed that Fury of the Heavens to be that last big bit of burst they needed to take it. And you can see Ram timing it perfectly. He recognized no one else was really hitting it apart from Strafe. And as long as he can time it, he can do more damage than the piercing shot of Sparrow, which is the highest sort of single bit of damage Sparrow can do, and he just has to do it just before the piercing shot comes out.
All right, that was a great play from Oxygen. Finesse had the advantage at Prime once again. It's Oxygen coming out on top, and we're gonna see how they play this one out, because some of their team members don't have it. However, it's Arsenic, Phasma, and Reborn.net with Prime Buff, and they're just gunning down the lane, putting 2 people in the right lane to stop Reborn.net, but that's letting the other 4 members of Oxygen just chunk down that tier 2 tower. That is going to be jump pads disabled. That's another.
They are increasing their lead right now. Imsco 36 points is nearly caught up to Strafe. Ram Riddles 42 points on that Quang. Has got that traitor's touch as we saw in the first game. doing that percentage health damage on his attacks means that no matter how much armor you're building, that's going to chunk through. You're still going to be taking health-based damage, which I absolutely love.
All right, and it's going to be interesting how the rest of this game plays out, because now we see Finesse on the back foot once again. They are still in the game, but the lead is creeping slowly as time goes on in favor of Team Oxygen. Purple buff spawns and red buff on the other side, so Reborn.net getting that buffed ultimate, followed by Meds. Chillphil has to disengage. This Kwang does land down the ultimate. Oh, he's gonna go in. It's Chillphil gonna absorb it, but the colossal blow will knock back both the Grox and the Kwang as Lucer is peeling for the rest of the team, getting the crash bang boom off onto Imsco and Team Reborn.net. It's gonna be a 1v4 as Meds gets knocked under tower and blown up. Lucer getting hit by the Judgment and a grenade. He goes down 1 for 1. Arsenic pulling off the black hole to get his own kill as well, zoning out the team, and now Strafe burning the inner fire to re-engage and getting that piercing damage to poke down the health of Phasma. Overall, the engagement using every ability on the map, still ending in a 1-for-1 engagement.
It is a 1-for-1. However, Ram is actually delaying these recalls, delaying the mana regen. It's going to allow them to take this tier 2 for free, back off, and spend their points. So overall, even though it was a 1-for-1 trade, we do see Oxygen getting the tower on top of it, increasing their control of the map. They have the other lanes also pushing in into that near to that inhibitor, and also Raptors are up should they choose to go for it. They can take it incredibly quickly if they wanted.
And they have the time to do so, but it's going to be everyone backing. They have their advantage. They know not to press it, and that's been the story of the games for Oxygen so far. Getting those little leads, building up their farm, and then getting a pick, getting a hit here, getting something there, not trying to increase or burn any opportunities and not lose those advantages they've gained. Whereas we see Finesse going for a more aggressive approach, trying to get that prime, trying to get that advantage after those picks. Going for Raptors right now, as we have Meds beginning to rotate in as well. It's going to be the Raptors in favor of Team Finesse, helping them stay in the game a little longer, rotating now into the mid lane. Kind of curious to see how this one plays out.
So, time and time again, Finesse, what they've been doing incredibly well is that control of the Raptors. Throughout the entirety of the game, I don't think Oxygen have been able to really secure them. However, Oxygen have been really good at these counter engages. Even with 2-man down, they recognize when they can force fights that are maybe on paper unfavorable, but things like Prime doing damage, the invades into the jungle have always been incredibly well calculated, and it's giving them this lead on the board. And I'm also liking the builds here. We've got the Hydroverser with Thick Blood on the Gideon. That Thick Blood with Black Hole will reduce all the healing. You won't be able to quenching while there is a the Black Hole being used on multiple members.
And that is a very good build for Gideon, having the power of the Black Hole just to utilize the Blight application of Thick Blood. He's up for Hydroverser, which we don't see a lot into solo queue anymore, so it's interesting to see Hydroverser come back into flavor and favor from the competitive teams. I'm interested to see if Arsenic is going to go for a Tainted Magic as well, because Tainted Magic is such a strong card for getting inside that ultimate combined with a Thick Blood.
Yeah, it is at the moment, and right now neither team is really sort of going for a big fight. Yes, the Oxygen have managed to take down 2 of the tier 2s, but they don't have to force it. They can wait this out a little bit. They have such high burst on their team that we've been seeing coming out from Ram, who's 48 points, highest on the board, 3-0-0, no assists. He's been going 1v1 fights, taking those fights for himself, taking those kills essentially for himself. And it's been benefiting his team for it as well. Prime is spawning any moment now, and look at Finesse.
All right, and they are going to look around Prime once again, as you just said. 29 minutes, red buff spawns for both sides of the map. Meds picks up one, Suki picks up the other. The question is, how is Finesse going to play this out? Because they've been Prime happy for the entire series that we've seen in these past 2 games, but they haven't been successful in getting the picks. They need to get Reborn off the map. They need to get the ADC off the map. They need to do something. However, it's going to be Meds engaging onto 2, getting a nice Warlord's challenge with a smash and grab. We have the containment fence going down. Arsenic picking a kill onto Suki as Proficiency getting dropped by the Grux. And that is the advantage for Team Oxygen now having Prime for themselves. The question is, can Finesse do what Oxygen just did and get the Prime away from the team?
It was incredibly well played by Meds. Charge, blink into smash and grab onto 2 guys, which is incredible play.
He moved so fast. And now we do have Strafe nowhere near the enemy team. He's opting to invade instead. Lucer trying to use the crash bang boom from behind the wall to get a secure, but it won't be in range. And Chillphil getting absolutely deleted from 3/4 health to 0 in the blink of an eye. My God. And I think this could be game once again.
It is a Prime over to Oxygen. We've been seeing this time and time again. Oxygen, when they've gone for Prime, have managed to secure everything. Like, they've managed to secure it so cleanly. The way they set up their Prime taking, I really like. They have 2 or 3 people doing damage, and the other 2, the 2 or 3 with the crowd control on the other side. So just hitting crowd control abilities just to delay it. And this is an inhibitor here, most likely 4-3 on the side of Oxygen.
Not a whole lot Finesse can do about that one against the primed up team. Sorry, something caught in my throat. And they are going to rotate back now. River buffs have spawned once again. They're going to get their lead and continue to do what they've been doing all game, getting their lead and just keep on going.
Yeah, they can't really force anything more because the waves are actually pushing against them on both sides of the map. So they have to go and back off, spend their points and push out these side waves with the Prime. I believe they still have about a minute on the clock where they can do this. Whether or not they'll be able to take more off of it is another question because Finesse, they're looking to do an aggressive play here. They're looking to try to remove Prime off a few of these members of Oxygen.
All right, and they are going into the enemy jungle to pick up the rest of that green buff. They're not going to be able to get any picks off right now. Suki's going to rotate over to the left side of the map and get the gold buff and apply that pressure against that very big minion wave that's building up. Chillphil's rotating around to try and see what he can do and help out as well. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we do have the other 3 members of Team Finesse beginning to push down the tower and making sure that minion wave doesn't build up any more than it needs to. Because now they have super minions to deal with. Luckily, it's in the mid lane, so you don't have to, like, you're able to rotate when you need to still. But those are still super minions.
Yeah, it is still supers. It's mid lane, as you said. It's easy to take. They're trying to take these Raptors yet again to help Strafe get to sort of 50-ish points where he can survive a longer. But Ran Riddles is already there. 228 farm, 54 points. Thermobond built as well, which I absolutely love on that Quang. Makes him really difficult to kill. Sevrog Subjugate ends up healing him more than it does damage. Same thing. Like, you have to be really careful now with what you target spells onto him because he's going to be able to actually survive a lot longer than you would like. And I love that card. It's such a favorite card of mine, especially on a lot of these sort of tank offlaners. I wouldn't be surprised to see Chillphil pick it up in the later stages as well.
It's honestly one of the more unique cards I've seen in a MOBA, having that ability. When you get stunned, you get healed. And like as a frontline, it's like, sure, blow your abilities on me, stun me, do it. I dare you, do it. You get healed the entire, I'm back to full health, man, and you used your abilities. What are you gonna do about it? Nothing.
Yeah, it makes it really difficult. You kind of have to just use your damage spells on him, CC him or ignore him while you CC him. So like you stun him, but then jump onto Decker or something if you can with a different ability, or knock him up while you use a stun on someone else. Try get the picks off onto other players because at this moment in time, I don't think he's gonna be a target they can successfully kill because of how far ahead he is in power.
Focusing, like, the Kwang is able to do a lot of damage, but focusing him is going to be such an issue and such a big commitment for the team. They're going to have to look and find their picks out. Finesse is going to have to look for picks elsewhere and kind of just let Ram Riddles do his thing.
I'm loving the setup because of how far Ram Riddles is ahead on the board. They've got this 4-on-1 setup. If Ram Riddles spots more than one person going over here to this tier 2 tower, Oxygen could just tower dive for the inhibitor.
Yeah, because they're using strafe to stop that Minuet from pushing up any further. That's the main source of damage for the entire team composition from Team Finesse, allowing Oxygen to push down the tower and look for yet another inhibitor. And they're looking to push down and get that as well. Instead, we do see Finesse do a good job of clearing the wave and preventing that rotation. Right, Reborn.net rotating back into lane. So this does give Team Finesse the power play and the opportunity to get something. The entire team's rotating over now, leaving Lucer all by himself under the inhibitor. They're going to clear that wave as fast as possible, and now they're going to rotate back over. Maybe get themselves a pick. There's a dash and a blink. Imsco gets hit by the Subjugate, but the Stasis Bomb going to go out and hit Chillfill. Meds getting away as well. So a very good engage.
Lovely disengage, because at this moment in time, we see Remedials taking down this tier 2. They're now forced to now run across the map yet again, try and deal with it. Probably not going to have to take it, but he does get some damage, and this is the split push Quang being used. This is the effectiveness of a team that's coordinated with a split pusher. You don't see a full engage from the side of Oxygen. They just kind of have to back up a bit. It's allowed Ram to actually hit full build, 60 points on his next back. He's got 6 points. And they're probably going to repeat this time and time again. They're going to force Finesse to split up, which is not in favor of their composition. And no one can deal with Ram in a 1v1 situation, so they have to send 2 resources there, which then allows them to push the other side of the map with the 4 guys they've got.
And that is such a good strategy. It's been working for them the entire game. Utilizing Ram Riddles as the force that he is, being able to 1v1 anyone, being able to out-farm anyone, and just doing what you can. Med's in the jungle now with the purple buff. He's going to jump right onto the green, and that's going to go to Arsenic to secure it, who has also a red buff at this time. This is a good opportunity for Oxygen to flex a little bit of muscle. Prime is spawning up very shortly, so I believe instead of utilizing that red buff, they're actually going to kind of just wait till Prime spawns so they don't get caught, they don't lose a pick, and then are forced to try and steal Prime once again.
Yeah, it is about a minute till Prime spawns. We're going to be seeing the lanes being set up here right now from Oxygen. Both sides are going to want to try and set up their lanes, but with Ram being so far ahead, he can set the lane by himself, which guarantees at least 2 of the lanes out of 3 are going to be pushing in Oxygen's favor.
And now we do see Ram Riddles on the right side of the map with his team beginning to go over and rotate as well. That tier 2 tower doesn't have a lot of health, so it's a good idea for Ness to just give that one up and maybe fight at the inhibitor. However, Prime is now spawning. And
Oxygen have Prime sort of positioning for it. They can back out from here and be at Prime ready to take a fight or bait it however they choose. They have vision in the jungle. They can now clear out the rest of Finesse's vision and also drop wards into Prime. They have complete control of this side of the map, and they can do what they want. And mid lane is going to start pushing in.
And there we see the purple hue of in the sky of the Prime Helix dropping down from orbit right into the map. He is spawned. This is where the game will be decided for game 2 of Finesse versus Oxygen. Teams are disengaging right now as they want to position themselves correctly and make sure everything's going on. The advantage is to Oxygen because, like you said, they do have an inhibitor down, so mid lane is always going to be pushing in their favor with those super minions. Right now, the waves are set in favor, for the most part, of Team Finesse. So they need to utilize this while they can, push down that lane. And there is the engagement from Chillfill as he gets a nice hit onto Meds. Team Reborn gets hit by the thunk, and there is the 3-man tether. Follow the ultimate, containment fence goes down. Lucer trying to do what he can with the crash bang boom as the make it rain is dropped. Meds not caught into it. It's Team Reborn versus the world as Arsenic jumps in with a black hole and gets stunned out of it, but he's still able to get a kill onto the howitzer as the team now backs off. And they're able to do what they can. Chillfill getting engaged on by Meds. Both of them are missing their main sources of CC as Chillfill gets hit by the stasis bomb. He goes down, he's dead, and this is advantage once again for Team Oxygen as they jump straight onto Prime. Great team fight, great strategies, and great execution coming out of Team Oxygen in this game.
They weren't able to kill Ram Riddles. As I mentioned, he's really, really tanky. They look like they're going to go for a steal here, but they aren't able to get it. The Meteor coming out from the Gideon, just too much burst, easily able to secure it. And second Prime. Now, going over to Oxygen yet again. What will they be able to do with this? I suspect they're going to try to push out both these lanes, recall, spend the remaining of their points, and try and set up for a game-winning play.
And points they do have to spend. We're seeing Phasma with 4. We're seeing Meds with 5 or 6 on himself. Arsenic's just hitting his last little bit to get to full build as well. It's actually funny how on the entire team, it's IMSCO with the least amount of CP coming out of everyone but the support.
Well, it's been the prioritization of Farmer. They ran the 2 in the mid. IMSCO has been playing incredibly passive. They just want to keep him alive. They've been allowing this whole game up, sort of a 4-on-1 situation, giving Arsenic and Ram the side lanes in terms of farming. So I like what they've done in terms of who they want to prioritize. And it's been working out really well for them.
And there is Meds getting himself a nice little blue buff for that speed boost. They're rotating into the left lane as they already have right lane set up, and it's Ram Riddles all by himself in the mid lane going against whatever he needs, setting up that 4-1 split once again, utilizing the waves to their advantage. And Team Reborn.net jumping in as well as the team is beginning to crash into the inhibitor, and this could be the last deciding fight of the game. So Tether goes out, but the team will not follow up on it. It's Kwong versus the world once again as the inhibitor goes down. They choose not to engage on the Kwong, realizing what he can do. The blink goes out, smash and grab will miss as a blink is followed up by Team Finesse as well, getting out of the smash and grab from the Grux. And now they're going to rotate methodically over to the right lane and get the last inhibitor of the game, going for a nail in the coffin strategy, just hammering it slowly deeper and deeper into the ground of Finesse.
Clean cut execution from Oxygen. They don't have to go for the risky core dive. Take the last inhibitor, take everything away from Finesse right here, then go for that fight. Potentially even go for a fight under this tower, where you'll be taking slightly less damage than you would under the core.
And there they go under the tower. Minuwave has crashed. Chillfield looking to get a pick as he uses the Colossal Blow, knocking him into 2 with a Subjugate. Team Reborn.net using this Tether, followed up by the Light of the Heavens. Proficiency popping his own ultimate, followed by Lucer. The containment fence finally goes down, and the ultimate from Suki goes out, not able to secure the kill, but Arsenic with the Black Hole does secure his own kill. And he's going to use the Stasis Gem in midair to absorb and stop any damage that would have happened to kill him off. And Sko rotating into Lucer, getting his own kill as Mez jumps in with the blink for the smash and grab, misses onto Suki, but it doesn't matter. That was still a 3-for-1 pick. Inhibitors going down, and that is a very, very happy Team Oxygen as they're looking to finish the game.
That is the core going down. We have, I believe, our semi-finalists here in Team Oxygen. Congratulations against Team Finesse, taking a 2-0 victory. Really well played, really strong gameplay, control over Prime. Those steals as well have been on point, and I am glad to see them make it through to tomorrow's semi-finals.
Where's my Oxygen shirt? Someone get me my Oxygen shirt. Balix, right now, send it.
I mean, if we're looking at who called who's going to win, I believe I said Oxygen was going to win.
Oxygen. I don't know what you're talking. What are you talking about? No, both teams are really good teams. Oxygen being my other favorite team. You know, I'm happy we got to see this. I'm happy we got to cast. Both teams did a tremendous job of not giving up, trying to make those plays. Oxygen completely able to stop Finesse from doing anything they actually wanted to do. Getting that frontline vision up, getting those picks, stealing those primes, stopping those primes, getting those team wipes. Like, just the strategy and execution used by Oxygen was just completely amazing.
And that is our top 4 teams decided. So tomorrow we'll be having Team Oxygen Esports versus Arctic Wolves and Bronze Army versus Reborn. The winners of those semi-finals will be crowned. The top 2 teams will be going to the exhibition finals at Epic HQ in August.
It's absolutely incredible. This has been such a great weekend, guys. Tomorrow we have even a little more to show you, because tomorrow is the real finals. We get to decide what actually happens. And now, just so you guys see what's going on, we're going to quickly bring up the in-game screen so you guys just get an idea of what the bracket is going to look like going into tomorrow. This is what we're dealing with right here. So as you just said, Gems, Bronze Army versus Reborn, Arctic Wolves versus Oxygen. Whoever wins this is going to Epic in August.
It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to watch these matches. I know everyone here is going to be tuning in. Let us know, by the way, if you can just tweet at us, like hashtag PCL, just tweet at us. Let us know who you want to win. Let's see how much support these teams can get. And we can track it. We'll let you know tomorrow what the fan favorites are.
Yeah, who is your favorite? Tell us. Just, add us on Twitter. I am Geronimo Jack. This is my man Gems casting with me today. And you just witnessed what could be Paragon history in the making. The first bit of it, at least. But yeah, that's going to be it for us today. Thank you for everyone who tuned in. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the main channel, gives you access to emotes, and, help support the comp scene as it is. We give everything we get to the community. It's really only fair, right? We need you to thrive. Also
for the stream tomorrow, same time as today, I believe.
We're starting at 2 o'clock tomorrow, so make sure you guys are here. Make sure you guys are ready, because tomorrow is going to be a very big day. Probably the biggest day we're going to see in the next month, as far as Paragon's concerned. In my opinion. I don't know about you, Gems. If you guys like us, make sure you check us out as well. My Twitch and my Twitter's under me, at Geronimo Jack. His is right. No, there. Yeah, I always point in the wrong direction. And if you want to check us out, make sure you follow. But until then, that is going to be PCL NA qualifiers for today. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. We'll have a host for you in just a second.